Welcome to the Labour Force. I'm Bongeni Muchwa. COSATU has reiterated its full support for SABC employees who are currently on strike against retrenchments at the public broadcaster. Members of the Communication Workers Union, a COSATU affiliate, downed tools last week, demanding that management should abandon plans to lay off 400 permanent employees and that it should withdraw redundancy letters already sent to some of the workers. Day 7 of the SABC strike. So far, no end in sight, as management refuses to budge. Instead, it decided to suspend the retrenchment process for a month until the end of December to allow for more consultations regarding possible alternatives to the layoffs. COSATU wants the striking workers to push on.
The CC offer its full support to the workers at the SABC who are pushing back against retrenchment under the leadership of our affiliate union COSATU and other unions in the institution. SABC is too important an institution to allow the reactionary board members and managers to gut like we have seen other state institutions. If we are to have a developmental state and have a participatory democracy, SABC needs to be strengthened and not to be weakened.
In the health sector, COSATU affiliate NEHAU has begun an indefinite strike today. It wants the Department of Health to hire thousands of part-time community health workers permanently.
We also offer total support to community health workers who are currently on strike under the leadership of our affiliate NEHAU. The unity and the resilience of these workers is commendable and exemplary. We call on our employers to accede to the fair and legitimate demand of these workers.
COSATU says it will hold a sit-in at the union buildings next week Friday to demand that government responds to its demand to pay public servants the 7% salary hike which was agreed with public sector unions 3 years ago. Bongeni Muchwa, SABC News, Johannesburg. For more on this, I'm joined by COSATU General Secretary Becky Njali. Good afternoon, Ms. Njali.
Good afternoon, sir, and how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. And how are you?
We're struggling.
Of course. So are the workers here at the SABC. It's 7 days now of strike, no end in sight. Yesterday, management came out with the workers and said they are not going back on the retrenchment process, even though they've suspended the process for a month. And now you are saying that the striking workers should push on. The possibility of a protracted strike, does that worry you or not as COSATU?
It does worry us because those management who are pushing this agenda, they are getting all their money, they are getting all their fed checks they're going to December, but workers' life and future is in jeopardy. That's why we're calling for more even on the board, on the board itself, if it can't restrain on the management in terms of those issues. It means the board is useless. That's why I'm also calling for the minister to say they can't blame workers for the failure of the SABC. It has to be taken by management and the board. We need these workers. We need the SABC. So I think they are refocusing their effort in a wrong direction.
Now, of course, the timing of the strike, we are on the eve of the festive season. It's a no work, no pay rule that's going to be applied going into the Christmas period as well. 2 weeks of strike, 3 weeks, even a month of strike, clearly the workers can ill afford such a protracted period of striking.
There's no option. Whether you lose your jobs, now we accept the retrenchment and you lose your jobs, you'll be out of the job in any way. So it's better to fight for a right cause and be able to be united and say, here we're together, we need to fight and win this battle. If they are able to be divided, it means others will retain their jobs, but others are going to be thrown to the dustbin of hunger. That's what workers' unity is all about. They must be united. We will support whatever way we need to, and we have to mobilize the society so that their issues are understood, that these are the victims of the same management.
Well, last week when your affiliate CWU was announcing the strike alongside your president giving support, they mentioned that if there is no resolution by Wednesday, which was yesterday, then they would start to mobilize for a secondary strike. Is that in the works? Are you discussing that? And if there is a secondary strike, what form will it take?
We will get the direction from the leadership of the union. Regrettably, because of the fight that they are having at the SABC, they were not in the Central Executive Committee, and we fully understand that we will be meeting with the leadership to discuss all those issues as to where do we move from here. Of course, the initial action that they have taken has led to the suspension by 1 month, which is not enough, because even in the 1 month, we're not going to be able to find a lasting solution. The management must withdraw these letters unconditionally, come to the table and negotiate in good faith. You can't negotiate with the gun on your head, which is what management is doing. And I think it is not negotiating in good faith.
Now, turning to the house strike that just started today about the hiring of community health workers, this at a time when the talk in government is that of budget cuts, but you are saying that you want maybe close to 6,000, if not more, community health workers to be hired permanently. What's the thinking behind, or the rationale behind your call in this regard?
I think government is speaking in terms of this issue. Government has long taken a decision that community health workers must be employed permanently. That's what they said. That's what they promised these workers. And these workers, they are asking the implementation of that decisions, because some of them have been working for more than 20 years. So there was a celebration when the announcement was made that these workers are going to be made permanent. And what these workers are asking is the implementation of the decision that was communicated to them. They are doing a wonderful work without being compensated. They are on the cold face of the COVID. They are going to people who can't go to the hospital. And unless government appreciates that one and deal with them as a human being, I think we are reversing all the gains and that we fought for.
Now, Mr. Chanjali, quickly, with regards to the public sector wage impasse, you are saying that your CEC is going to stage a sit-in at the union buildings next week, Friday, to push on for this demand, of course, or to press for this demand. Yet you are expecting a judgment in the Labour Appeals Court with regards to the court case that's ongoing with regards to this issue next week, Wednesday, 2 days before your sit-in. So you deciding on a sit-in 2 days after the days of the judgment, before the judgment comes out, does it mean that maybe you don't have much confidence that you're going to win the court case on Wednesday?
It is not about that one. We're saying we're going in there because when we went on the 7th of October, we made a number of demands and we submitted memorandum. There was no response as yet, which is just disrespect in any way. People are saying we're going in there to demand the response, including the issues on the collective bargaining. Our view that the agreement is valid, that agreement should be implemented. That's why we even said we'll have to take this matter to the LO. So the court is one element, one leg of the strategy, but it does not mean we must fold our hands and wait for this thing, because we may win the thing in the court, government can appeal, and it can go on and on. So the question of putting pressure is one of the terrain that we need to fight through.
Well, Mr. Mchanchali, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you very much. That's where we leave it for today. Up next, the Alternative Investor with Nastasia Arendse. Stay with us.